Hi, friends, and welcome to another episode of Lionsgate Podcast with Sahdi and Omni. I'm Omni.
And I'm Sahdi.
And today we got some new and exciting news. We are so excited to announce that we are doing a sister podcast called Tuesday Tea Time with Sahdi and Omni. And this podcast will be more so behind the scenes. It'll be our weekly update on things that have gone on with me and Sahdi throughout our spiritual journey. We know with Lionsgate, we really put all of our time and energy into doing a episode that has a theme and a lesson in it. And this will be more so the lessons we're learning from the universe on a weekly basis. So you guys get to hang out with us weekly and keep up to date what's going on in our personal life and just all the tea. So this episode is going to be our first tea time episode, but this is kind of our introduction. So let's get down to it. One, we're going to be talking about the last 6 months because we published our last season 3, about 6 months ago. And we did the last episode and it took me about 2 months to put that out. And I had to give out some apologies. We'll get into why that kind of happened because I want to share it with you guys because I feel like a lot of you have been there on our journeys and into our lives. And I want to be open and honest and transparent with you in that. Also, me and Sahdi went to New Orleans and we got to have an amazing time, experience a lot of stuff, and we're going to kind of get into that as well.
Yeah, we just want to catch you guys up on what's been going on in our life for the last 6 months. We want to make a promise to ourselves and to you that we'll be doing Tuesday Tea Time every Tuesday, every week.
Exactly.
And then we're also going to be branching out. Omni, do you want to tell them a little bit about?
Yes, we decided to get out of our comfort zone and do a weekly live through TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube, the whole shebang. And we're going to do live readings. And for Sahdi, she's been doing this for many, many years. And for me, I'm a lot newer at it. So we thought it would be amazing to show somebody who's very experienced in it and somebody who's a lot newer in it come through and channel at the same time because we've done it on the show here in previous episodes when it comes to our true crime crossover episodes. And it's been amazing. Our spirit guides work very well together, which is our next episode we're going to drop. Our first episode of next season of season 4 is going to be all about higher self and spirit guides. And we have so much to talk about.
You guys are going to love this one because we're going to be talking about not only what is the higher self and what is spirit guides, but we're going to be talking about the difference between the two.
That is probably one of the biggest questions I get asked from listeners or even friends. And that was my question to you when we first started talking about spirituality. I wanted to know about that.
Yeah, it is very confusing, but we're going to get into that.
Yeah. So let's start back 6 months ago now where we were recording our last episode of our last season, which was all about tree magic. And that was during the Aurora Borealis where we could see it where we live, which you could never see it where we live. So it was very energetically amazing. But we had to postpone that probably two months before we actually recorded. And then it took me a lot longer to get it out because
we had some personal things going on in our lives.
We call those tower moments because in tarot, when you pull the tower.
When you pull the tower, it's usually the ending of something. You know, an upheaval of your energy, of your personal space.
Yeah.
Usually breakups, loss of job, things like that along those lines. And it's kind of like you've been somewhere for a really long time and you feel like you've built on this structure. And the tower moment is like a lightning bolt that comes through and it's like you're not supposed to be here. And a lot of times it can be very painful experience to have that happen and have everything that you thought that you built on just shatter.
Yeah.
You know.
And I'll be transparent because tea time, I was with a partner for 4+ years that I had separated from. So I was going through a very tough separation, children involved, household involved, and we decided to part ways. So that was a rough time and it's really hard to focus on much else. And I was more focused on healing in that moment. So not that I necessarily owe anybody an explanation, but I want to share that with you guys. I want to be transparent and and open and vulnerable, because man, going on this journey is so exciting, and just sharing all the parts of ourselves, because like we've talked about, we have shadow parts of ourselves. We don't always have good things that happen in our lives, and it's okay. And you come out the other side, and sometimes the hard times make you grow and expand more than the good times. And I know I had some people be like, where is your last episode?
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, this happened and you had to take time to heal from that. And that's protecting your energy. That's self-love. And that's what tea time is going to be all about, you guys. We're going to come on and we're just going to fill you in on what's happening in our personal lives.
Yeah.
And we're going to be as transparent as we can possibly be, because it's showing you and it's showing our authentic side.
Exactly. Yeah.
Lionsgate podcast, we're still going to get those out to you. We're going to try to make it more consistent, at least one a month for you guys. And it's going to be on specific topics. Like the upcoming topic is going to be about higher self and spirit guides. We've got a guest speaker that's going to be coming on talking about energy work and what each chakra actually means. And we're going to get in depth with that. And it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
We just have a lot of really good topics that we're going to be talking about in the future. But they take so much time and energy, because to be transparent, when we do a full episode, we do a lot of studying, a lot of research. We come together and combine our knowledge for you, and we try to get it out to you as fast as we possibly can. But there's a lot of editing and things that go along with that.
Yeah.
But tea time's more going to be just us sitting around, like talking about like what's going on with our lives, what's going on with the podcast.
When we do episodes with specific subjects, and it is really crazy how when we focus our energy on one subject, how things happen within that subject to us in our lives. However, other things are happening that we can't necessarily fit into that subject because they're not on topic. And so it would be fun to be like, hey, you know what? This week I had this crazy dream and then this happened. Sahdi and I, we are just on the same frequency. We are soul sisters. And there are so many times where I'll call her and be like, I had this dream and it's like the first piece of a puzzle. And then she comes back around a week later and is like, second puzzle piece, and we see the whole picture, or vice versa. And so we're in each other's energy all the time, and we finish each other's sentences, or we'll say the same thing because we send voice clips back and forth to each other all the time. And so I think it'll be fun to let you guys in on that energy because it's exciting. It's like a battery. It gets us excited. And I think when I talk to people that we're close to about it, it gets them excited. And I want you guys to be excited because this is exciting, you know?
Right.
It'll be more so like what has happened the previous week because we've done a lot of different subjects. I'm still working on dream work. That was back in the first season.
Yeah. And there's subjects that we would like to talk to you guys about that don't necessarily demand an entire episode on Lionsgate. It could be something that we just want to share with you guys, some knowledge, some wisdom, some epiphanies or synchronicities that we've had that we just feel called to talk to you guys about and let you in on. And it doesn't necessarily have a title for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We just want to talk to you guys about it.
Yeah.
And you can always write in and ask us questions, you know, and we're going to get back to you.
Absolutely. I know I've had people ask us questions here and there, and I've tried to get back to them, but it's like, man, it doesn't fit into what we're talking about right now. We don't really respond on the episodes. And I know when we initially started, we talked about doing that. We even said that in the episode, like write in and ask us questions. And we first started out the episodes answering questions.
But it took from the episode. It
Yeah,
really
it was
did
off
because when we
subject.
spent, 15 minutes answering questions about dreams or something like that, and then we jump into the actual topic. And we tried that at first because we're just learning. We have how many episodes out now?
30 plus.
30 plus. So we're only 30 episodes in.
Yeah.
And we started off with one microphone and we had no idea how to edit. And I did the episode about my near-death experience.
Yep.
And we had no idea what we were doing.
No.
So if you go back to the beginning and then you go to Tree Magic, which was our last one that was released, you'll see that we've come a long way.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just saying earlier, like you have to learn how to crawl and then walk and then run and then fly. And, the first season, I feel like we had training wheels on. We were like 4-year-olds and we just didn't know what we were doing, but we had the passion and we had the will to do this. And then,
and the divine guidance too.
Yeah, exactly. So every season, I think we've progressed a little bit more and we've grown more.
Oh, yeah.
And like Omni was saying, with every single episode that we do, it's so profound. Like even with the last episode that we did with tree magic, we both have a lot of knowledge when it comes to tree magic, but because we were doing an episode about it, it made us go farther and deeper into our inner knowing and research and finding everything that we could out about it. So it was like following a path. And we gathered all of the information and brought it out in one episode.
And learning more.
And see, so that is stuff that we can talk about maybe on tea time.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, like what we actually went through to experience to bring it to the episode.
Yeah.
So the episode is like the final outcome.
Yeah.
And tea time is just us talking
about the behind the scenes.
Yeah, it could be behind the scenes or
director's cut.
Yeah, because every time we do an episode, things start changing and shifting in our lives. Like when we did the one about demons.
Oh, shit.
Really fucking dark shit started happening in our lives. And that's stuff that we want to come to you and be like, okay, this is the episode, but this is what fucking happened leading up to the episode and after the episode. So
we made a pact because we did Left-Handed Magic before that one. And we made a pact not to do 2 dark energy episodes back to back because of that.
Yeah, we can't do that anymore.
No, we learned.
We have to kind of, we have to have duality here. We have to have light and dark,
We both ended up with scratches on us. I think we talked about that in
that shit was fucking crazy. And I'm like, yeah, this is why tea time is being birthed.
Yeah.
And this is a time when you can like really write in. And if you write in, we'll be doing our best to get to everyone's questions and give you a shout out.
Yeah, absolutely. You can email us. You can write us on our Facebook. You can write us on any of our social medias. We have a link tree in all of our socials. So you go to our Facebook page, our Lionsgate Podcast Facebook page, and we will have a link tree that has tea time linked to it. So write us through there, write us on our email. Our email is sahdiandomni@gmail.com, and we will answer you. We're building a community here, and that's what's most important to us is the community.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Anyways.
All right.
Let's get to the tea. Let's get to the tea.
The fucking tea, bitches.
Yes. Okay, so let's jump to New Orleans. So like a year ago, I had my birthday. My birthday's in October. I'm a spooky baby. And I was like, I want to go to New Orleans
Every time you say New Orleans, I remember the girl in the car saying, because I call it New Orleans.
Yeah.
And she calls it New Orleans.
Yeah.
And we were with a Lyft driver and Omni said New Orleans. And she's like, don't let anybody from here hear you say that.
She made fun of me.
Yeah.
She's like, New Orleans.
Yeah.
It made me sound like I sounded.
Right.
She goes, you got New Orleans.
And I'm like, New Orleans. And yeah, I don't have my Southern draw anymore.
Yeah, she made fun of me. But that Lyft driver. Okay, so we learned so much from the Lyft drivers in the city because they were telling us everything because we were trying to experience it all. But the whole reason why we went to New Orleans, whatever. NOLA. We're going to call it NOLA.
Call it NOLA.
Yeah, I didn't even know NOLA was short for New Orleans, honestly, until we went. Learning. So we went to NOLA.
She's not a Southern girl yet.
I am not at all. Anyways, so I wanted to go to NOLA because my primary spirit guide is linked to NOLA. And so I said, for my birthday next year, I want to go there. When I went through my breakup, I still wanted to go. And Sahdi's like, I'll go with you. And I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, because your ex was supposed to go with you.
Yeah. And when we broke up, obviously, I'm like, I'm still going because this is important. And I knew it. You know, I have that saying, I feel it in my bones. That's my intuition.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone has that gut feeling, whatever. I feel it in my bones. I have to go. And so my fucking bestie went with me.
Fuck yeah. And I'd been before, but it was a little bit different because I was going with a big group of people. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't really get to experience the way I wanted to because I was with a group of people and I kind of had to do what they wanted to do. Yeah. But with you, bitch, like, oh my God. The first night that we get out there, right? We walk into a fucking bar, right? We walk into a bar and there's this fucking hot ass bartender chick, right? And they just start talking. And the girl within like 5 minutes, like asks Omni.
I gotta tell. Wait. So Sahdi gives her, she's like, IDs. And then Sahdi gives her ID, and then she's like, "Oh, you guys are from Oregon?" I'm from Oregon. I was like, "Where from?" And she says my fucking town that I'm from. And so I was like, "No shit." And she gave me crossroads and everything. And she was just like, "Oh yeah." So I'm bisexual, in case I haven't said that. So she goes to walk off, and she goes, "But I'm a big fat lesbian." I was like, "Me too, baby girl." Like, cause I'm single Pringle, ready to mingle.
Right. She goes to New Orleans right after, like months after her breakup.
Yeah, to the point where I was ready to mingle.
Yeah, she's like,
I'm over this heartbreak.
Yeah, she had already gone through like, her pain and her tears, and it was hard, you guys. Like, she really did love this person.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy.
No.
It wasn't an easy breakup. It was definitely a tower moment.
Yeah.
There was so much growth and beauty and learning from that. And I'm just in awe of Omni and her power and her self-love. But yeah, she was ready for this fucking vacation.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's go, bitch.
Let's go.
And so, yeah, the first night out there, she gets hit on very first bar that we walk into.
Oh my God. But I got to tell the rest of the story because it's fucking hilarious. The bartender comes back and she's like, shakes my hand. She goes, "What's your name?" And I was like, "Omni." And she goes, "Oh, like Omzi, because where we're from, there's a museum called Omzi." And I was like, "Well, there's no S in my name." Because people say that a lot about my name. Like, "Oh, like Omzi?" No, there's no S in my name. It's Omni. And she goes, "Oh, like Omzi?" I said, "There's no S in my name." She goes, "No, I've been there. It's Oregon Museum of Science and Industry." And I said, "Yes, it is." She goes, "That was cute. Give me your social media."
Yeah, and
it's just like, "I'm a retired porn star. Is that a problem?" Like, no, but I hadn't had a drink yet.
No, we were still sober.
We
when
just
that
got
happened.
off the fucking plane. We just got off the plane, went to the hotel, got dressed up, and that was on Bourbon Street, first bar we went to. And so I give her, our podcast Instagram, and I was like, "Damn," because she was beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but then
she was fucking hot.
Yeah.
She bought you a free shot. She gave you a free shot.
She goes, because Sahdi goes, "It's her birthday." So she goes, "Oh, I got you a shot, da 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 da." And I'm looking at her and I'm just like, she's fucking drunk. She was drunk. She's a bartender, but it's NOLA, so you can drink behind the bar. She was definitely drunk, and she's like, "I get off at 1." And I was like, "Okay." And then every time we pass that bar, because it was the first bar on Bourbon that you pass, or one of the first bars that you pass, Sahdi was like, "Hey, you want to go see your girlfriend?" I'm like, "No."
We never went in that bar again for the entire time that we were fucking out there, because Omni's like,
no, because she was drunk. It was awkward.
Oh my God, it was still fun.
No, it's a funny story for sure. And she was super hot, but I was like, "Nah, I'm good."
So Omni, did you end up hooking up in NOLA?
No, I didn't. You want to know why? Let's get to the nitty gritty.
The universe wouldn't let her.
The universe wouldn't let me.
But we had a lot of fun. We ate a lot of really fucking amazing food.
Oh my God.
We met we met a lot of really amazing people out there. It was amazing. It was beautiful. And it's the first time we've ever taken a trip together. And so I think we got along really well.
Yeah, Sahdi kept saying beforehand, she's like, "Well, yeah, because I don't know, because I've never traveled with you." And I'm like, "Who have you traveled with that you're so worried about this?" Well, I'm pretty chill.
I wasn't really worried. I just kind of like haven't traveled with you before, so I didn't know like if you had boundaries or, I don't know what I was thinking. Well, I just wanted to make sure you felt comfortable, because I was going with my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make sure she felt comfortable. She's coming out of a breakup. It's just her and then with somebody.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to make sure that like everything was cool, and we kept,
because
we kept up to date.
Because Sahdi is fucking amazing. She's the most selfless person I've ever met in my life. Like, she could be going through a hurricane and be calling other people to make sure they're okay. You know what I mean? Like, she's the fucking best.
Thank you.
Yeah, she was checking in with me, but I'm like, "No, I'm pretty chill." Like, we can do whatever.
Right, yeah, we had a great time.
Oh my God. So, and then I am not much of a drinker. I'm a lightweight, first of all. And yeah, we're going to drink on Bourbon Street. So the first night we got a little tipsy. Like, I laid in bed and I was like, "Uh-oh, the room's spinning." But I was not hungover the next day somehow. Like, spirit guides had my back.
Oh, and I was sick for the first couple days. That
yes,
sucked,
but
man.
You were such a trooper.
But I was like, fuck that. I'm on vacation. I'm not going to be sick. I like almost did not allow myself to be sick.
She did. Mind
but it was
over
fucking
matter.
hot as fuck on one of the days. And I was walking around and I was like, I need to go back to the hotel and take a nap.
Yeah.
Because
We all did, though.
Yeah, we did. That was fun too. We all
Yeah.
just like in the middle of the day went back to the hotel and took a fucking long ass nap.
Yeah, and then went
And
out
that was
that
fun.
night.
Oh yeah, we did. That was the night that we.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that was the night.
So
We had a lot of fun.
we
We
flew-
can't tell you everything.
The Vampire Speakeasy, because that was something I learned about somehow before we went, and I was like, I want to go to this.
Yeah. So the thing is, you have to find a vampire first, and then they have to give you an invitation to another bar or someplace like that. And then when you go into that bar, you have to find the vampire. And then when you find the vampire, you give them the invitation.
And it has to be an actual invitation. It can't be a picture of it.
Right. And so, and then you find the vampire and then he leads you. And it doesn't even look like there's anything there. It looks like kind of like a back alleyway. And he like lets you up and then you go up these stairs and it goes off into this like vampire themed bar speakeasy type thing. And then there's a balcony where you can of course look over because it's off of Bourbon Street. It was really fun. We had a lot of good times there.
Yeah, that was super dope. That was amazing because you have to go on a scavenger hunt and find the invitation. So that was just really cool because it felt like something that special that not everybody knows about even or gets to do. So that was pretty special. But then we also went on some ghost tours, and we went on this one ghost tour. Actually, the ghost tour we went on,
Zach and Addie.
Yeah, so Zach and Addie, we learned about. I guess Sahdi had already heard about this story. We'll talk more about it in our true crime crossover.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about them later on in this season.
But it was inspired from New Orleans, and we got to see where everything went down.
So if you guys want to research that, Zach and Addie and NOLA.
Yeah. And we got to hear from the locals too about it.
From the locals about it, and there's just a lot that went on.
Oh, and on that ghost tour, we got to see the La La Ree mansion, and the La La Ree mansion is super haunted. Nick Cage, I guess, owned it for a while, and that's when his business went to shit. And then we went and saw. Okay, so we went on a ghost tour. We saw that mansion. I took a picture. The next night, we went on another ghost tour. We walked by that mansion. I took a picture, zoomed in on the picture, and the fucking face is on there.
Oh yeah, she definitely caught an apparition.
Yes,
it was so cool.
So once we put this episode out, I will post that picture because I've been holding on to it.
Yeah, we'll let you guys see it.
Yeah, it's creepy. I looked up her original picture, and it's her face.
Yeah, put them side by side and throw it up on our
I'll put
on
it up
our page.
On our Facebook.
Yeah,
we'll
for
put
sure.
Tell them about the ghost in our room.
Oh shit. Okay, so supposedly the hotel that we were in was haunted. And so I didn't really pick up any feelings from the hotel. It looked kind of creepy. It was nice. It was a nice fucking hotel though. And so one day, it was the day that we were taking our nap. And I rolled over and so I had my bed and Omni had her bed. And right past her bed was like a chair. And I opened my eyes and I saw a man sitting in that chair.
Next to my bed, y'all.
Like right next to her bed. He was just sitting there and he's kind of just staring off into the distance. And I closed my eyes and I was like, there's no fucking way there's somebody else in this room. And I opened my eyes. It was still there. And he was like moving, but just like a little tiny bit. So I knew it wasn't like a shadow. And I'm like, what in the fuck? Like I wasn't drunk or anything. It was the middle of the fucking day. And I closed my eyes again and I opened them and he was gone. I didn't want to scare Omni. So I didn't even tell her until like after she woke up. And then I went over and I sat in the chair where he was sitting. And I was like, I don't know. Like when I was telling you, I think you were still in bed. And I was like, I feel like there might've been a table over there or a chair or whatever. And you look over, you're like, there is a chair there. And so I got up and went and sat in it. And I looked, and from the angle that I was sitting in the chair, there was a lot of mirrors in the room. So if I looked in the mirror directly in front of me, I could see into the other mirror. It was a huge mirror that was on the closet door. And it looked like a portal. And I was like, oh, it was a mirror being.
Yep.
So I knew exactly what it was. And I just thought it was super cool that I got to see it.
Yeah. And I was like, well, that mirror being must have been giving me sex dreams because.
Oh, that's right. You were having sex dreams.
Yeah. I was like, damn. Fucking, that's the only action I got in NOLA.
He wasn't having sex or anything pervy. He was just kind of sitting there
just
behind
watching
you.
Me sleep, apparently. fuck?
See, I don't know with the mirror beings if they're even aware of us.
We talked about it, and I was like, never mind. That's just
he could have been in a parallel universe, just some dude in the same hotel room.
Yeah, just staring off into the abyss.
But we should do a episode about mirror portals and mirror magic and mirror beings and stuff like that. Like what's really over there.
Oh yeah. We talked about doing that. Definitely some research needs to be put into it, but I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too. Let us know what you guys think about that.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys are inspired about us doing an episode and it divinely hits us, like all of our episodes are divinely guided. We'll have ideas for episodes, but it's not until we actually feel it in our bones that we need to do it.
Right.
And things happen in our lives that we actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so because I have like a list of episode ideas that I've sent to Sahdi, or I've been like, we should do an episode on whatever cats. I don't know. No, spirit animals and stuff, which I think we'll cover a little bit in the next episode that we're gonna do, but I've been saying that for a couple seasons, and it just wasn't the right time. And so, yeah, send us ideas, and maybe that's our sign to do that episode. One of the tours we went on was voodoo and vampire. So she talked about, I really loved how she covered voodoo in a sense, or at least a part of it as much as she could in a tour, because the tour guides would like walk you along and show you different things, but they'd stop and tell you stories and talk about it. And she really explained how Haitian slaves were taken to America, and let's say you were somebody that was brought here, didn't know anything about being a Catholic, and you were brought into a church, and these people were saying chants. They were drinking wine, but saying it was the blood of their deity.
Eating the flesh
And all of that. That would sound really evil and scary to you, right? And so she's like, that's how not just Catholic people, but the people of that time treated Haitian people and their practices and their beliefs. And a lot of Haitian people with voodoo dolls, and I didn't even know this, is that they were healers. I'm getting chills. They were healers. And when they were brought to America in NOLA, it was illegal for them to know how to read and write. They would be murdered. They would be hung. And they did talk about some of the abuse done. We won't cover that here, but it was heartbreaking. And so they were too scared to learn how to read and write. So what they would do in order to keep record of people that they've healed or done, good work on, is that they would do a doll and get an article of their clothing or a piece of their clothing to remind them of who this doll represented. And let's say a green pin in the hand would be, I helped him heal his hand. Or maybe a blue pin in the heart, I helped him because he was having heart problems. That's what blue represents.
They were actually doing healing.
Yes, because they weren't allowed to read or write.
Yeah, they couldn't just put labels or a file.
Yeah,
with them, so they would use the doll.
Exactly. Or they would make dolls into the Loas that they worshipped. And, when you go to, because they were forced to become Catholics. And so when they would go to Catholic Mass and there was these saints, and they would put their dolls behind the saints and pretend like they were worshiping these saints, but they're worshiping their Loas.
They're worshiping their own.
They were just practicing their own religion, and their own spirituality. So I didn't even know that. And I thought that was such an important piece to me. And I thought that was really beautiful, that they were just healers and misunderstood. The last thing we'll talk about, and we'll wrap up our trip on NOLA, is it was my birthday week, and we learned on one of the tours that if you put $1 and you safety pin it to your shirt, that people will steal your purse, they'll steal your phone, but they will not steal that dollar because it is considered very bad luck, and people of NOLA are very superstitious.
Yeah, so they'll just come by and add dollar bills to your money.
So anyways, I went that whole night with people oh, it's your birthday. Is it really your birthday? Because I guess there's scam artists with it that put the
there's people that pretend it's their birthday so they can get people to give them money or something like that.
Man.
Yeah, we just went out for a nice dinner and just walked around on not Bourbon Street.
Oh, Frenchman Street.
Yeah, Frenchman Street.
You have these preconceived notions of NOLA from social media or movies, and Frenchman Street is what I expected Bourbon Street to be, but Bourbon Street reminded me a lot more of a Vegas strip. It was very party, and which is cool. It's just it was different than what I thought it was going to be. But Frenchman Street had like
so many live bands outside, and just that street energy, just people walking around selling stuff, and the street art, and
an art market.
The art market. It was really nice.
Yeah, it was super cool. But yeah, that was a magical trip, and that was the inspiration we needed going back into this season, because I'm pumped. I'm pumped for all our new ideas. I'm pumped to be back on track.
And we're coming at you guys full force. Like, we're here now. We're not going anywhere. We're not going to take breaks, at least for a while.
Yeah.
We're going to be more consistent on showing up for you guys.
Yeah, because you guys deserve it. We want to recognize and celebrate that. So we will have our next episode of Tea Time out on the podcast Tuesday Tea Time with Sahdi and Omni. And look out for that on our link tree and our social medias. And as always, remember to keep your minds open.
Namaste, bitches.